The Earth is full of many wonders and mysteries, some of which even scientists have yet to solve. The planet we live on has many layers with its own unique properties. But one thing that has really got experts baffled is why there is a massive hole in the Earth's mantle. It's like there's an empty space underneath our feet, but that's far from the truth. Instead, it's an area that's much less dense than the rest of the rocky material beneath us. It might not be an empty hole, but it does seem to be devoid of minerals that make up the mantle. So what's going on here? In today's video, we'll explore this unusual phenomenon and find out more about the mysterious blob underneath us all. We'll also take a look at other holes in the ground that aren't explained by science. So if you're ready to get stuck into some fascinating geography facts, stay tuned for the next few minutes. But before we dive in, be sure to hit that like button for more top quality geography videos. Let's start by looking at what the Earth is made up of. This will help us understand where this massive hole is located and why it's such a strange feature. If you didn't know already, the Earth has 4 different layers: the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. The crust is the outermost layer, and it's what we actually live on. It can be divided into the continental crust, which is the land we're all familiar with, and the oceanic crust, which are the seabeds. The crust makes up just 1% of the Earth's volume, and it's also the thinnest part of the planet, with an average thickness of around 30 kilometers. Below this is the mantle, which is the largest layer inside the Earth. It makes up a whopping 84% of the Earth's volume, and is about 2,900 kilometers thick. The mantle isn't uniform throughout, and it can be subdivided into the upper and lower mantle. The boundary between these two sections is called the 660 kilometer discontinuity, or the 660 depth. Beneath the mantle is the outer core, which is mostly made up of iron and nickel. It's liquid and is around 2,200 kilometers thick. Finally, at the center of the Earth is the inner core. Despite being incredibly hot, the pressure is so intense that it keeps the core solid. It's estimated that the inner core has a radius of around 1,200 kilometers. Now that we've covered the basics, let's get to the reason why there's a big hole in the Earth. You see, the Earth's layers are defined by changes in chemical composition, physical properties, and sometimes temperature. For example, the boundary between the crust and the mantle is known as the Mohorovičić discontinuity, or the MOHO for short. This is where the less dense granite of the crust gives way to the denser basalt of the mantle. However, there is an anomaly in the mantle that doesn't fit with its general composition. In some places, the mantle seems to be missing altogether. Instead, it's replaced by something much less dense. Now, scientists don't fully understand what's going on here, but they do have some theories. One idea is that these low-density areas are the result of ancient ocean water that seeped down into the mantle. When the oceans formed billions of years ago, they were much warmer than they are now, and the water was less dense. As a result, it's thought that some of this lighter water may have trickled down into the mantle. Over time, this could have created pockets of low-density material. Another theory is that these regions are actually empty spaces in the mantle. This could be due to the process of mantle convection. This is the movement of the mantle caused by heat from the Earth's core. Hotter, less dense material rises to the surface, while cooler, denser material sinks. This creates a cycle of movement that's similar to boiling water. And it's possible that at certain points, these rising and sinking currents can create voids or holes in the mantle. Now, while scientists can speculate about the cause of these anomalies, what actually causes the hole to remain there? Well, it turns out that the mantle has a remarkable ability to heal itself. If a hole does form, it can quickly be filled in by the surrounding material. However, if the hole is deep enough, then the rising hot material can keep it open. This is thought to be the case in some of the low-density regions in the mantle. They're essentially deep enough that the mantle can't close them. But why should we care about a hole in the mantle anyway? Well, it turns out that these features can actually help scientists study the Earth's interior. By measuring how fast seismic waves travel through the mantle, we can learn more about its composition and structure. And what we've found is that these low-density regions actually provide a window into the Earth's interior. They allow us to peer deeper into the mantle than would otherwise be possible. So while these holes might not be an immediate concern for us humans, they do help us understand more about the planet we live on. Another hole that affects humans directly is sinkholes. These openings in the ground can occur when the bedrock is dissolved by water. It's a natural process that can happen over many years. In some cases, though, human activity can trigger a sinkhole to form. For example, when groundwater is pumped out of an aquifer, it can cause the ground above it to collapse. Sinkholes can pose a serious danger to life and property. In 2013, a sinkhole opened up in Guatemala City, swallowing a 3-story building and several people. In some parts of the world, entire cities are at risk of sudden collapse. This includes parts of Florida, Mexico, and even Venice, Italy. The good news is that sinkholes can often be detected before they collapse. By monitoring the ground for signs of movement, authorities can warn people in the area to evacuate. There are even devices that can be installed in homes to detect if a sinkhole is forming outside. While sinkholes might not be as mysterious as the hole in the Earth's mantle, they do pose a real threat to people's lives. And speaking of holes, did you know that there's a giant hole in space? It's not actually a hole at all, but a black hole. These objects are so dense that not even light can escape their gravitational pull. Black holes are one of the most fascinating objects in the universe, and scientists are still learning more about them. What we do know is that they can be incredibly dangerous. If a black hole gets too close to Earth, it could tear the planet apart. Luckily, there are no black holes anywhere near us. But it's fun to imagine what would happen if one did appear above our heads. As you can see, holes come in all shapes and sizes, from the tiny sinkholes that can swallow buildings to the giant ones that exist in space. But perhaps the most mysterious of all is the hole in the Earth's mantle. Scientists still don't fully understand what causes these features or why they remain stable over time. But they do know that they provide us with a unique window into the Earth's interior. So, the next time you're standing on the ground, remember that beneath your feet there's a giant blob of mystery. What do you think is the most interesting hole in the world? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit that like button for more top quality geography content. Thanks for watching,